Welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio with your host, Tim Wood. Tim is a certified financial fiduciary and a no-market risk retirement and income specialist, and the owner of SafeMoneyRetirement.com, primarily serving Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Southwest Virginia. But he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Wood is a licensed life insurance professional in multiple states and specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk with you about no market risk retirement planning, your host, Tim Wood.
Welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio. I'm Tim Wood, an asset and retirement protection specialist. After many years in the making, I released my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, back in 2022. And today, I'm thrilled to have journalist and podcast pioneer Doug Sandler with Turnkey Podcast Productions with me to discuss the 7th chapter of my book. Doug, welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for inviting me back, and thank you for being here and sharing your expertise. I love talking to authors about their books, especially best-selling authors who really know their stuff. And you talk about stories. There's some great stories in Tim's book, and you've got to get a copy of it. So I'll tell you a little bit later on how to get your copy if you haven't already done that. Chapter 7 is today's topic. We're going to talk about somewhat safe, mostly sorry savings, CDs, and coffee cans. I can't wait to hear about this. You ready to dig in, Tim?
Let's go, man.
All right, I'll start off by asking you why savings, CDs, and coffee cans are only somewhat safe. I can't imagine putting my money into a coffee can and not have it be safe. Why can't you lose, why can or can't you lose money in these three options?
Well, you can't, physically you could lose money in a coffee can because there could be a fire, someone could steal it. So, that could physically happen. Mm-hmm. As far as savings and CDs, yes. Could something happen to the banks? Yes, you're, insured up to $250,000. But a lot of the people just think, hey, my account's insured up to $250,000. There are a lot of rules and loopholes in those rules. So there are places that you still could lose money, and especially if you've got over $250,000 in an account. But what I was really meaning by that is I talk to people every single day that say, oh, I've got my money in the bank. I'm just letting it sit there. It's not losing any. We're doing fine. Or it's making a little bit of money, off of a CD. So, I'm doing okay. The challenge is inflation. That's bottom line what this boils down to. If your money is not making more money than inflation, you're losing money. So if you've got 100,000 and it's just sitting in an account making 1%, inflation is 7, guess what? You lost 6% that year. Yeah. That's the same as a market loss. You may as well be in the market and lose money. That's what people don't understand about some of these things that don't have hardly any guaranteed growth. When the market goes down and interest rates go way up, they can make almost nothing in them. And yet they think, well, it's sitting there, it's safe. Well, it's safe, yes. But you're losing value on that money every year when you're not, having any gains because of inflation, especially with the rates the way they've been lately.
So without going too deep into economics, or certainly not into politics at all, why is inflation one of our listeners' enemies in retirement?
Well, the biggest reason, obviously, is just because everything costs more, right? People understand what inflation is. Basically, inflation is the difference in the cost of anything from this year to next year. So when they say overall inflation is, 6, 7, 8%, whatever, okay, that's an average, maybe if you averaged everything. But for example, in 2020, lumber had an inflation rate of over 200%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you tried to buy eggs lately? There's some things that are just, the inflation is crazy. And when it's things that you use all the time, like eggs, like bread, like just normal stuff that's going up more than 7%, that's where the challenge comes in. So that's really the thing that you have to look at when you look at inflation. And you have to look at historically, there have been some times of really high inflation. And for most of us, what we remember is the end of the Carter years and the beginning of the Reagan years. It peaked at, in 79, it was 13.3. Mm-hmm. In 80, it was 12.5. And then it started going back down from there. Hope to God we don't get back to that now. but we were at 7% in 21 and 6.5% in 22. Hopefully that we've curbed that, but we're going to have to wait and see. But that's what the big challenge is. Again, if you're on a set amount and you've got enough, let's say your expenses right now are $3,000 a month and you've got $3,000 a month in income coming in. Well, you're good right now. Well, what are you going to happen? What are you going to do if inflation keeps rising those expenses by 7% or maybe even more based on what you buy, and your income is still staying stagnant? That's where the challenge comes in, and that's where people then have to start cutting back on their expenses and cutting back on their lifestyle, or they have to go back to work, or they have to start asking family members for money. And none of those options are good options for retirees.
Really interesting points of conversation. And if you don't already have a copy of Tim's book, he's offering to our listeners a copy absolutely free. Just visit safemoneyretirement.com or call 844-905-SAFE to request your free copy. I want to talk about a subject that you brought up right before I gave the listeners an opportunity to check in on your book.
That was part 1 of my interview with Doug Sandler about chapter 7 of my book, Save Money Part 2, Somewhat Safe, Mostly Sorry, Savings, CDs, and Coffee Cans. Tune in next week for part 2. Are you ready to step away from all of the risks and have your own safe money retirement? A copy of my book can help be a roadmap to get you there. Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success was written to help educate soon-to-be retirees or current retirees about what their options really are in retirement. Options for gains with no losses, options for income that you cannot outlive or your spouse can't outlive. You need to know what your options really are and how you can work with a certified financial fiduciary to make sure that you are in the best option. And my book can help. I will give you a copy absolutely free. Just give us a call, 844-905-SAFE. That's 844-905-7233. Or just log right onto our website at safemoneyretirement.com and register for your free book right now. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money Retirement Radio. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market risk. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to Safe Money Retirement Radio with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe with locked-in returns that will never go down due to market risk, so you can have the future that you deserve. Call Tim Wood now for your free copy of his #1 best-selling book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, along with the free Safe Money Retirement Information Kit at 844-905-SAFE. That's 844-905-7233. Or visit him online for more details at safemoneyretirement.com. Have you recently changed jobs and now you have a 401k or another retirement account you don't want to expose to the risk of market loss? You have worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Since you will probably start another retirement account at your new job, why not ensure your old account provides you principal protection, the opportunity to participate in the market with locked-in accumulation, and a guaranteed lifetime income? We can help you roll over the retirement account from your previous employer and identify products that provide the potential of index-linked credited interest while limiting market risk. Did you know that if you're age 59 and a half, you may be able to move money out of your employer plan even if you're still working there? Call us now and ask about bonus options on your retirement money with a fixed indexed annuity. Imagine putting your money on an elevator that only goes up. It might stop on a few floors along the way when the market index goes down, but you won't go back to visit the lower floors. Our phone number is 844-905-SAFE. That's 844-905-7233. You can get your complimentary Safe Money Retirement Information Kit by calling us now. That number again is 844-905-SAFE. That's 844-905-7233. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.